How much can you tell about a car from its number plate? You may already know that the 2 digits in the middle of a British number plate signify the year that that car was registered in. And you may already know that if the car was registered in the second half of that year, the first digit will have 5 added to it. So second half of 2025 would be 75, for example. But what you may not know is that that doesn't actually happen halfway through the year in June, as you would expect. And the reason for that is this cat and mouse game that's been going on since the 60s between car dealers who would quite like to have a fairly consistent number of cars sold throughout the year, and people who want the newest, swankiest plate to kind of show off to their neighbors or whatever. In the 60s, plates had a completely different system, but the year signifier did reset on the 1st of January. And what they found was that in October, November, December, there would be a real slump in sales. And then suddenly on the 1st of January, there'd be a massive spike as everyone rushed to get one of these new plates. So as an attempt to kind of, I guess, muddy the waters, confuse people a bit, maybe devalue the plates, they moved the date from January 1st to August. I guess it only had a limited effect though, because by the late 90s, dealers were complaining that now they just had a sales spike in August instead. People had cottoned on. So in 1998, they changed it so that now the year signifier would change twice a year. So that's the numbers, but what about the letters? Well, the 3 letters at the end have no real significance. They're assigned randomly and they just signify that particular car. The only function that they serve is that sometimes they spell out funny words. But the 2 letters at the start do actually mean something, and I think this is the least understood bit of the number plate system. The 2 letters at the start show where that car was registered. They're a location indicator. The second letter is sometimes meaningless, other times it refers to the particular town or local area that the car is from. But the letters are assigned pretty much randomly. You'd have to either memorize them or look up a list to work out what letter means what particular town. But the first letter refers to the region, or in some cases the large city that the car is from. And those letters sometimes are pretty obvious in terms of which town or city they're referring to. Other times it's a little bit more complicated. I'll show you. Right, I thought that would be an easy one to get. So L just means London. That makes a lot of sense, right? That's how you would expect the system to work. Y, I think, is a pretty obvious one, just means Yorkshire. Right, and that's a W plate. I think you can probably guess that means Wales, but it doesn't. It means the west of England. C is actually Wales for Cymru, of course. A G plate. Where do you think that's from? That's right, Kent, the Garden of England, of course. K. We know it's not Kent, so where else could it be? Well, it's just these places. They didn't come up with a reason for this one. It's just these places. N. The North. B. It is Birmingham. That one is Birmingham. Anyway, hopefully this knowledge will give you another way to pass the time on a long drive in the UK, unless it's in Northern Ireland, in which case it won't help you at all because they have a completely different system. So, sorry.